YouTube. Be sure to check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com for everything Royal Caribbean related. RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Happy Monday. Every Monday, we are live right here on YouTube, hanging out, talking Royal Caribbean. We're going to get a lot of questions today. We're going to start with the most important question, which is how many days until your next Royal Caribbean cruise? Type your countdown in chat. Let's count down together. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you all here. I've got less than 2 weeks till my next cruise. Actually, since last week, booked another cruise. I'm going to be going on Brilliance of the Seas next week. And then we've got Independence Days right after that. Wonder of the Seas in March. Everything's coming up Millhouse for me lately. It's fantastic. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you all here. Happy Monday. We've got some super chats all ready to start us off. So we got some questions already coming in. Starting with Brian Weber. Thank you, Brian, for the super chat. How do you get your robe to use when you're platinum? Well, when you're platinum, it is supposed to be waiting in your room for you as one of your perks in your closet. Theoretically, you shouldn't have to say anything about it. It should just automatically appear because you're a platinum member. You may, if it doesn't, talk to the loyalty ambassador on board the ship. They can hook you up with that. Thank you for your generosity. Michael S. in the house. Michael, thank you for the super chat. Hi, Matt. I booked a cruise using my travel agent. However, I won my Royal Up bid. Congratulations. Dealing directly with the Royal Caribbean. Will my travel agent receive credit? Absolutely. Yep. They're tied together. It's like Michael S. There's certain things that it doesn't matter if you use like the travel agent or not. Your travel agent gets credit for it. Air to Sea is one. Royal Up is another one. These are things that it's your choice whether you want to go through the travel agent or not in those scenarios, but the travel agent still gets credit for it. And David Alvarado, thank you, buddy. Royal Caribbean time. Indeed, best part of the week right here. Let's answer as many Royal Caribbean cruise questions as we can this evening. Lots to talk about, I am sure. And yeah, very, very excited to talk cruising with all of you. Lots of countdowns. Love that. Shannon's going on Navigator in 70 days. Palm Coast Kane going on Mariner on Thursday, which means this will be the slowest week of your life coming up right now. Becky Menken from MEI Travel, 32 days till Wonder of the Seas. That's also my countdown. Speaking of 32 days, we also have Josh Carruthers with an epic super chat. Woo! Thank you, Josh, for the epic super chat. Good evening. 32 days to the inaugural Wonder of the Seas, and I will need it. It's supposed to get an ice snowstorm this week. I'm kind of jealous that you're getting a snowstorm, but 32 days, my friend, almost a month away until we get away from Don Goldstein. Oh, wait, he's going to be there too? Well, 32, almost a month away until we get to go on a cruise with our friends. Can't wait for that one. Michael wants to know, how does Royal Caribbean handle people in a wheelchair? Same as almost anywhere else. They're wheelchair accessible in many scenarios. I think you'll find it pretty accessible, quite frankly. But you need to bring your own wheelchair. That's a tip. If you're thinking maybe you could show up and grab a wheelchair from Royal Caribbean, that is not allowed there. Sean wants to know, is the Abbott ID now rapid diagnosis accepted for unvaccinated children? Unvaccinated children need to have a PCR test. That's the only requirement for unvaccinated kids. Good question. Let's see here. NYC Lover for Life, welcome. Eric wants to know, can alcoholic beverages be ordered non-alcoholic since we have the refreshment package? Absolutely. You just let them know, hey, I want to have a virgin, whatever. No problem at all. We do this all the time for my kids. Yep. Not a problem. Vanessa Cooper, thank you, Vanessa, for the super chat. How does priority boarding if you're staying in a grand suite selling on Symphony of the Seas in June? So here's how it works, Vanessa. Essentially, this is easy because you're going out of Port Miami, right? In Miami, there's two entrances, one for people who are staying in a suite and one for people who are not staying in a suite. So Josh Carruthers goes with the regular crowd, and then you're going to go in the suite lounge area. And essentially, you have a separate check-in area and a separate lounge area. And then when it's your time to board, they're going to board you first, essentially. So that's how it breaks down. Miami Terminal A is a little more organized in that regard in terms of like suites versus non-suites compared to maybe some other ports out there. So it's really easy. You just let them know, Vanessa, when you get to that cruise terminal and you walk in, you've got your paperwork and you get right to the doors. You let them know you're going to you're in a suite, and they'll direct you right to the right place. T. Higgs saying hello with 20 inches of fresh snow around. I am jealous, but I love the snow, but it's good to see you here, T. Higgs. Welcome. Queen T, can't wait for your Navigator cruise in April. Fantastic. Love it. Terry wants to know, will the food and play makers be free during the Super Bowl? No. It'll be the regular menu. It's a good one, though. I like that. Miranda says, question, should I bring cash to, I don't know, Coos? Cut? Should I bring cash? Because I've had issues with the credit card on Royal Caribbean before. I use credit cards every time I've not had an issue. I would say in general, it's a good idea to have some cash with you. But Miranda, if your question is, should I bring enough cash to cover my balance of my account? I mean, that's up to you. But no, actually having a credit card is way easier than a cash account, in my opinion. I mean, listen, have some people had issues with credit cards? Sure. People have issues with credit cards at McDonald's, let alone Royal Caribbean. That's not an indicator that you're going to have a problem with it. But there's no reason you can't have it. I would have a credit card on file. And if you prefer to pay the cash off and just be like, I charged $500. All right, here's $500 guest services. You can do that as well. It's up to you. Jen from Connecticut. What's up, Connecticut people? On Anthem of the Seas, if you get a Grand Suite, it says Voom is included. Do you know if it's surf and stream or just surf? It is surf and stream. Yep. It's pretty nice. And that's only for Oasis and Quantum class ships, by the way. That's included. Ethan wants to know, what is your best Alaska cruise itinerary ship in your opinion? The best itinerary, Ethan, in terms of like the most exotic, most interesting ports to go to, definitely Radiance of the Seas, the open jaw sailings, ones that begin in Vancouver and end in Anchorage, or the other way around. But the ship, obviously, you've got Ovation of the Seas, a Quantum class ship. There's pros and cons, Ethan. If you've never been to Alaska before, never done anything, I would, and you're from the United States, you might lean heavily towards a Quantum class ship like Ovation of the Seas at Seattle. Seattle's easier to get in and out of. It's going to be cheaper, and it's going to offer you a great experience. And you're still seeing Alaska. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to like Walmart on these other places. You're still going to pretty awesome places. Juneau, Skagway. Those are great places to visit. But Alaska diehards will tell you the best ports are the ones you see on those open jaw sailings. But those open jaw sailings are a little harder to get around. They're because of the fact you have to get to Vancouver, and flights are a little more difficult and expensive to get to. And on top of that, you're either doing a 2-week cruise, so you can come all the way back to Vancouver, or you're flying in and out of Alaska, which just adds another hoop, if you will, another hurdle, I should say, not hoop. I don't know what hoop means. So, hey, David, checking in from Onboard Enchantment of the Seas. 800 people on board. You've got the ship to yourself, basically. You got to ship to yourself. That's fantastic. Good for you. Not so much for Royal Caribbean's bottom line, but good for you. Rob wants to know, going on Oasis April 3rd, question, if I get the refresher package, do I just pay the difference for alcohol, for example, rum and Coke? No, you don't. That doesn't work that way. You could order a Coke and then ask for a shot of rum and pour it in there. To me, that seems like more hassle than it's worth. But no, it's one or the other, Rob. You're either ordering a Coke or you're ordering a rum and Coke. You can't negate $5 off the cost. It doesn't work that way. Scotty 5000, thank you for the super chat. I'll keep an eye on the comments here, Scotty, to see if there's a question or you just want to say thank you. Well, I appreciate that. Mario has a question. Is Brilliance of the Seas nice ship, or is it too old? It's fantastic. There is no ship that is too old, Mario. That's number one. It's a matter of, does Brilliance of the Seas in this situation offer you what you're looking for? It doesn't have a flow rider. It does not have a real promenade. It does not have zip line or a full Broadway show. If that matters to you, then, that may make the decision for you. I love big ships. I love Oasis class ships. I love Quantum class ships, but I also really love Brilliance of the Seas. It's a Radiance class ship. It's beautiful. I think it's got a great bar scene on there. I think it's just fun, and I really enjoy it. And so I think it's to answer your question, in my opinion, it's a great ship, but make sure it offers what you're looking for. And this goes for any ship in the fleet, right? Finding what works for you. So it's a subjective question and a subjective answer, essentially. Hope that makes sense. Lots of questions here. I'm trying to get to as many as we can. Brian wants to know, do I think Royal Caribbean will keep the vaccine mandate? I think certainly the vaccine mandate is going to be here for a while. Will it be here forever, ever? I mean, I can't tell you what, 5 years from now? I don't know. I don't think anyone can predict that, right? I can only tell you that it's my opinion that I think the vaccine mandate and a lot of other COVID-19 protocols are going to be here for a while longer. Certainly, I think 2022 is all but certain. The only way it would go away anytime sooner than the end of this year would be literally COVID has to disappear off the face of the planet, like, snap of a fingers kind of a situation. I just don't see that happening. It's going to be something we're going to live with as a society moving forward, and it's going to become, obviously, from a pandemic to an endemic, and it's going to, it's going to have its ebbs and its flows to it, but eventually, as society, it's going to be relegated to a more localized type thing, right? I'm not a health expert, by the way. I'm just telling you things that I've read about that seem reasonable. Anyway, my point is that I think protocols will be around for a little while longer. How much longer? I don't think anyone truly knows the answer to that, Brian, because it's really just tied to where the pandemic is and a variety of other factors that are in place. But the good news is, with more people getting vaccinated, with the mutations becoming more and more, what's the word? Or not more and more, less and less, uh, not deadly, but deadly is the word as well. It all works in that direction, if that makes sense. So kind of a longer answer there, but hope that a little bit of a rambling, but yeah. Terry's going for his first cruise out of Port Canaveral. What terminal do you normally use for waste class ships? Terminal 1. Terminal 1. Nice and easy. Brand new terminal. Tri-State Killa. Yeah, just wondering if you have the refreshment package, you order an alcoholic drink, how do they charge you? They just charge you for it. Doesn't matter. You can't do that, or it's not like a discount off the alcoholic drink. They'll just charge you for the alcoholic drink. So time to catch up with some super chats here, starting with the Teresa McChain with a super chat, sharing a bit of my casino winnings. Happy belated birthday, Teresa. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. That is really, really generous of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Javon coming in with the super chat. Thank you. Javon says, please support Royal Caribbean Blog, become an insider podcast. Oh, thank you so much. Really therapeutic. I highly recommend it. Thank you, Javon. I look forward to the day we can cruise together and make fun of Boston sporting teams to Josh's face together, Javon. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Cody's wants to know, if I book a cruise on Expedia, can I assess it on the main website? Access it, I think you mean. Yes, I don't recommend booking any cruise through big websites like that one. I don't recommend it. This is not, yes, I have a travel agent partner. They're a sponsor, full disclosure. But let me tell you something. There's a big world of travel agents out there. Expedia doesn't have a great reputation of servicing you, because that's what you're really getting. It's not booking a cruise. Anybody can book a cruise. That's not the issue. The issue is the service you get, and they have a terrible reputation, quite frankly. So my advice to you is not book it through them. Also, keep in mind the pricing is pretty much the same across the gamut here. Occasionally an agency may have a special deal like free gratuity or something like that, but the pricing is the pricing. So I would shop around, and I would not recommend actually booking with them. But to answer your question as directly as I can, yes, you would be able to. David Alvarado with an amazing slap your grandma. It's that good of a super chat. Woo! Would you recommend Chef's Table on Oasis for $80 a person? Just me and my wife. If you're a foodie, David, first of all, thank you for your generosity. If you're a foodie, David, if you really indulge, you love wine and you love really good food, and you're not picky eater, I think the Chef's Table is absolutely worth it. It's an amazing experience, having done it on Mariner of the Seas. But you need to be a foodie. You need to be a wine lover. And if so, it's definitely worthwhile for you on that one. Tai Wu, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Woo! Lots of generosity tonight. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. I'm looking for Tai Wu's question here. I don't see it currently, but Steve Rose, thank you for the super chat. Keep an eye out for many questions here. But thank you guys for your generosity. Appreciate it. Next question is from, hey, first of all, I got to say hello to Megan Hayes. Megan's just talking to Preston, but what's up, Megan? Hope you're doing well as well. Welcome. Danette wants to know, what's the capacity for Oasis? I'm selling March 14th for Miami. So Danette, Royal Caribbean does not divulge in advance what the capacity will be. You just heard about Enchantment of the Seas having 800 people on board. Well, no one would have known about that until you actually get on board. Those numbers aren't put out in advance. So it's impossible to know, Danette, what capacity, how many passengers will actually be on your sailing until you literally get on board. So hope that makes sense. Our next question is from Mahoner2. Just want to say hi. We're live on Oasis right now. My daughter Lyric turns 8 tomorrow. Please wish her happy birthday, Rob from Toronto. Lyric, happy birthday. Celebrating on a cruise? Jealous. That's awesome. That's you've got an amazing dad right there taking you on a cruise for your birthday. That's fantastic. You know how many birthdays I celebrated on a cruise ship when I was your age? 0. So that's pretty awesome. Jason's got a very deep question for everybody. Why is it not May? Why am I not on a cruise ship? Right? Next question. Grumpy and V, thank you for the super chat. Thank you very much. If my husband and I get unlimited dining, can we take our teenagers to the Zoomy one night or Chops and pay out of pocket? How does it work? Yeah, absolutely. So you show up there and you say, hey, I've got the dining package. My husband has the dining package, but our teenagers do not. They'll charge your teenagers, but not you. No problem at all. Kathy, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for all the info every week. Thank you for your generosity. It is very kind of you. You guys know the super chats are not required, not asked for, just something that you can do, and I appreciate it. It's like a tip jar. It's very much appreciated. But thank you, Kathy, for your support and for being here talking Royal Caribbean. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Edmund wants to know if boosters are mandated by Royal, will the requirement be the same as prior vaccine 14 days? You're asking me a hypothetical on a hypothetical. I have no idea. I mean, whether or not the boosters are going to be required by Royal Caribbean remains to be seen. On the one hand, some cruise lines are requiring it, but they're very small cruise lines. None of the major ones have done it, right? Disney's probably the closest to a major cruise line, but DCL kind of marches the beat of their own drum to begin with. On top of that, I would have thought we would have, if they were going to require the booster, they would have done it much earlier, back when Omicron was really like just coming out and people were really concerned about it, not where we're essentially either at peak or starting to approach past peak on it. And number three, the CDC doesn't even define the definition of fully vaccinated as requiring the booster. So who knows what may or may not happen, Edmund. But the bottom line is I can't answer your question because it's a hypothetical on a hypothetical. It's like you're asking me the equivalent of, not the same thing, I get it. If Superman and Batman fought and Superman became king of the earth, who would he marry? I mean, it's not the same thing, but it's a hypothetical on a hypothetical kind of thing, which I'm very bad at answering there. Jose wants to know, do I have a tour of Anthem of the Seas on Royal Caribbean Blog? Not yet. We're working on it. Our goal is to get every single ship. Jenna is only one person. She can only get on so many ships at a time. But I think we may actually hit Anthem of the Seas this year if things continue on their current course. Disney Dreamer wants to know, do you think the key is worth it during the COVID times? I do not. I've tried the key on Odyssey of the Seas since COVID. I tried it before COVID. I think it just sounds better than it is. You're sitting there and you're looking at the cruise planner and you see the key and you read what it includes. You think to yourself, man, that sounds great. It sounds better than it is, in my opinion. I feel like it's one of those things that the perception is it looks better than it is, but it's not. I don't know if that makes any sense, but did YouTube die? Did we lose the chat here? Because I mean, I see people still in here, so I'm guessing that my statistics are all off, but that's okay. We're gonna keep going here, as I think we're still live here. Let's see here. Betty Egan with a super chat. Woo, thank you. No rental mobility scooters to Barbados. Now what? Oh, do you mean, so you're flying to Barbados and you need to rent a scooter for your cruise? Could you bring a scooter with you from the United States? Like you get on the airplane, people bring scooters on airplanes, right? Or, they put them in the checked area. Well, you know what I mean? I would say that'd be your next best bet. I would imagine if there's no place to rent scooters in Barbados, that'd be what I would think logically would make the most sense. Andres wants to know, why are they charging for iFly on Anthem in the UK? Well, they're charging it over here as well. Remember, as much as we love Royal Caribbean, they are a for-profit company. So I'm thinking the answer they usually give for situations like this where something was free and then now it costs money is usually to mitigate demand. Basically, so many people want to do it when it's free that it's just impossible and it becomes just this race. But by charging, they help reduce demand a little bit. That's what Royal Caribbean probably would tell you, but draw your own conclusions there. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Mike, can I get some recommendations for what to do in Corfu? There are still some ideas. The Old Town is really, I think, where you want to go in Corfu. That's a really big area as well. Also, Mount Panto Crater, I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, is also pretty darn cool. There's a lot of monasteries and churches, but the Old Town is where you want to be. No question about it. Vincent says, my wife does not drink alcohol at all. It's possible for me to get the unlimited alcohol package and go on Symphony in June. Yeah, just call Royal Caribbean and let them know. They'll allow your wife to buy the refreshment package, the non-alcoholic package. Instead, that'll be fine. Just give Royal Caribbean a call on that one. Let's see here. Rosa, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Hey, Matt, going on Odyssey in 20 days. Are there adult-only shows or venues on Odyssey, or are all the shows family-friendly? It's a great question. Certainly, there are. I know that when they do like a late-night club experience, that is for adults only. If they did the Quest, that would be adults only. There are certain shows that are adults only. The Solarium, as you may or may not be aware, that's not entertainment, but the Solarium is adults only, 16 and above. That's the pool area reserved for just for adults. Um, they don't have a comedy club like the Oasis class ship, so I think that's about it. I mean, other than obviously, certain, the casino, right? Kids aren't going to be in there, but I hope that answers your question. Royal Johnny, it's a great question. If I need medical assistance while on the ship for anything other than COVID, will there be a charge to my CPAS or will they be charged to medical insurance? So that's a great question. If you use the medical facilities on board, you'll be charged no matter what. I don't care what insurance you got. They're going to charge your CPAS card. What you're going to do, they just don't take insurance. Bottom line, that's just their policy. What you'll then do, Johnny, is you'll turn around and file a claim with your travel insurance company or medical insurance company or both, and to have them taking care of it. So, Davis, it sounds like I'm in on Chef's Table. It's fun. If you've never done it before and you're a foodie, I think it's well worth it. Let's see. Jake wants to know, do you think they'll give me a hard time if we have 8 people in the Thrill Water Park Cabana? I think it's priced for 6 people. Probably not. Don't make a big deal about don't be those people, Jake, where it's like woo, spring break, and you're annoying everybody else. Just be cool about it. Tip your cabana attendant. Generally speaking, they're pretty cool about that stuff. I can't promise you anything, but just keep that in mind. Justin wants to know, do I think the mason jar and wonder this will be handled as a special restaurant or will be a la carte? My guess, and emphasis on guess, is it'll be a la carte, similar to Portside Barbecue. I could be wrong on that, but I don't know. So far, I'm not sure. Nancy Baker says, according to local news stories, Harmony of the Seas is responsible for the SpaceX launch being scrubbed Sunday evening. Do you know what happened? Essentially, that's the report that's out there. To me, it seems like a big non-story. No offense to you, Nancy. I mean, let's not. First of all, that launch was already scrubbed 3 different times for weather. Now, granted, no one has control over the weather, but it is what it is. Also, let's not forget that the busiest spaceport is right next to the second busiest cruise port. So stuff like this is going to happen. There wasn't malfeasance involved in this. It wasn't like Harmony of the Seas, like, we're gonna go and we're gonna be rebels and go into the designated zone you're not supposed to. By the way, SpaceX determines like the entire coast is off limits there. And on top of all that, and there'll be a whole investigation by the Coast Guard. We already know about that. But when a cruise ship is leaves a port, the Coast Guard is responsible for that area. They get permission from the port to depart and all those things. But the bottom line is it's a big non-story. It already launched this evening, so it was less than 24 hour, or maybe it was exactly 24-hour delay. It's fine. SpaceX we all love space, but SpaceX is a private company. Royal Caribbean is a private company. Sometimes things just don't go your way. But the bottom line is no lives were lost, no damage, no harm, no foul kind of situation. Unfortunately, I just can't believe how much attention like everything SpaceX does gets, but to me, it's a big non-story. Like, who cares? In the sense that, like, there's no material impact, right? That's the thing. Mike Collins, when will Wonder of the Seas appear in the app? Sometime between now and March 4th. It will be there. Not to worry. I don't know what date exactly, but it will be there. Jen Ash, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for all your Royal Caribbean insight. You're very welcome. Do the boardwalk balconies on Oasis still come with extra perks? No, Royal Caribbean got rid of that in 2018 or 2019, fairly recently, Jen, but no, they do not come with that. Thank you for your generosity. Hey, Tommy boy, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Woo! Thank you. Well, what Royal Caribbean ship interrupted the SpaceX launch yesterday? Harmony of the Seas. Boston fans are the best and loyal fans. Man, there's so much about this that I disagree with, but thank you for your generosity, Tom. I appreciate it, and I'm sure Josh Carruthers appreciates it as well. Let's see here. Sweet Tea wants to know, what's the process with vaccination cards once checking in? Really easy, Sweet Tea. Just like your passport. They're going to say, can I see your passport? Yeah, and your vaccine card. So you're going to need your vaccine card. You're just going to show it to them. If you didn't upload a photo, then they will upload a photo then. If not, they'll just verify the photo's there. Cool. That's it. They're just going to take a look at it, make sure they have a photo of it, and move on. So pretty straightforward. Jonathan Harmon, thank you for the super chat, buddy. 83 days till my family's Oasis of the Seas Aqua Theater Suite. Pick up like that. Becky Mencken approves. What is the check-in like for Star Class? Thank you in advance. It's fantastic. You're going to be treated like royalty. Basically, they escort you through the whole process. You have a separate line for check-in. And then once you're through security and all that, your genie will come and meet you and literally walk you on board the ship. The nice thing is your room should be ready for you already. So you go straight to your room, drop your stuff off, and then the magic happens. It's fantastic. Tony Diaz, spoiler alert, if Superman and Batman fought and Batman wins, he becomes king of the earth. He weds whoever he wants. There you go. Tony with coming in with the hard-hitting information that we were asking for. Appreciate it, buddy. Pete, this is a question I've never gotten before. Have you ever traveled on Cunard, the Queen Mary 2 before? We're cruising next weekend from Hamburg, but not sure what to expect. I have not. I wish my parents were here. They've actually done this. They've traveled on an Oasis-class ship and the Queen Mary 2. Cunard in general is a very different experience than Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean is a mass market cruise line. Cunard is certainly a premium cruise line. I might even say a luxury cruise line. I'd have to defer to maybe some folks who have actually done this before. But it's going to be, Cunard is a little more, I don't want to say hoity-toity because that has a negative connotation to it, but it's certainly, you're not going to have as many whiz-bang features on board. Their ships are not built like, let's pack in flow riders and zip lines and mini golf and things of that nature. It's a more classic cruise experience, more of an ocean liner experience. But again, I've not been on everything I'm telling you is based on my observations. But at the very least, a different experience is what you can expect. Let's see here. Next question is from Sandra, who writes, will Royal Caribbean accept the birth certificate that's on the document paper but has the person's name and parents' name typed on it? It has it on it. It's true. And you need to have the original documents you need to have the raised seal. That's all I know about the birth certificate. Not a copy, but the raised seal. That's what you need for there. So whatever that gets you, however you get that, that's what you need. Brian, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for a few hours of happiness in a week and otherwise generally stressful world. Hashtag Royal Caribbean Blog Insider. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Double thank yous on that. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Zebo wants to know, can you do more than one excursion from Royal Caribbean? Yes, of course. If you're asking like in the same port, you can. It's generally not practical. Assuming you have enough time in port, in my experience, it's just the time required. It's not usually practical. You're probably going to be hustling, and it's just a little. It's hard to get the times to work out. And on top of that, then you're kind of like, when tour number one is like, are you back in time? I wouldn't recommend it. What I would recommend instead sometimes is doing something on your own, like a Royal Caribbean excursion and then something on your own. So you do a Royal Caribbean shore excursion in the morning. The tour ends around lunch, and then you take a taxi and go do something else and come back on your own. You could do that. I think that's totally fine. But booking 2 excursions in the same port, if you have enough time and if you got some gaps there, I think it could work. Just watch your time. It's what you see on paper, is not necessarily what in reality would be a good idea, if that makes sense. Eric wants to know, what's the difference between Voom Surf and Stream? Just speed? Yeah, essentially Voom Surf is throttled down artificially. So if you're just doing basic stuff, Eric, you're texting, you're checking your email, and that's it. That's fine. Voom Surf. But I think Surf and Stream is just better because it's an overall better experience. The speeds are just faster. Whether you're downloading or watching something on Netflix or not, in my opinion, it's just a better overall experience to have, because it's faster, to have Surf and Stream. So I think it's worth it to get Surf and Stream no matter what. Let's see. Ed wants to know, since all the food on Royal Caribbean comes from the same supplier, that's not quite true, by the way. I mean, there's different suppliers. Are the premium restaurants really worth the added cost? Aren't the food just cooked differently? No. See, that's a misnomer. I mean, where they get the sushi from is different than where they get the bananas from or something. I don't know. They're sourced from many different places. You're right that they have suppliers, but from the supply chain standpoint, there's many different vendors who bring in these foods. I think you're greatly oversimplifying, no offense, what especially dining is. You're kind of like, it's like saying they don't take the same cut of steak in the dining room as they do at Chops. That's just not the case at all. It's very much different cuts, different quality that you get there. So to answer your question as simply as I can, no, I think you oversimplified the difference between specialty and non-specialty food. And listen, you can have a great time without paying extra for specialty food. I love the main dining room, and I'd be totally fine eating there. Specialty dining is a way to augment, not necessarily replace your dining on your cruise. Sometimes you want to have sushi. Sometimes you want to have Mexican, right? You want at Sabor, right? There are ways that you can get those foods at these specialty restaurants. The filet mignon is going to be better than any cut of steak in the main dining room, period, end of story. And it's not about the cooking style. It's also about the quality of that food. So a little more than what you're describing it or giving it credit for. Let's see here. Shawnee is getting sick of all the snow in Canada. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something about that, but I cannot. Anna, thank you for the super chat. Going on a lure with another couple, February 12th, 2 different reservations. We both have dining times at 8. Will we be able to sit together? Yes, but what you need to do, Anna, is link your reservations. Call your travel agent and link your reservations together. Both reservations need to be linked to each other. If you both book with the travel agent, they can do that. No problem at all. If you book through Royal Caribbean directly, you need to call Royal Caribbean and ask to have your reservations linked. And again, you need to do it for both sides. Otherwise, you just look like a creeper. You're trying to get on someone else's spot. But if you do that, that should be totally fine. Nancy C, been a subscriber for 2 years. Thank you. Finally going on my first Royal Caribbean cruise. Woohoo! Anthem of the Seas, February 11th. You're going to have an awesome, awesome time. Love it. Let's see. Next question. Edwin wants to know, is the casita on Odyssey worth it? I mean, I wouldn't pay for it. So what Edwin is talking about on the pool deck, there are little casitas. They used to be free. Now they charge for them. And you get them for the day. And there's like, I forget, it was about $200, something like that for the day. You know, if you had a big family, Edwin, and you wanted to have a home base of operations, sure, it could be worthwhile. I don't think it's worth it. I think that there's plenty of seating, and but I'm not like a pool deck guy. I'm not going to be there all day kind of a thing. So maybe you're saying, no, Matt, our family's going. We're going to be up there at 9 a.m. and we're going to be there till dinner time. And that's our style. We like it. We've got, we're going to have drinks. We're going to have stuff. It's be nice to have a home base of operations. Sure. Then it's worthwhile. But I think you got to be realistic about how much time you want to spend up there. But if your concern is, Matt, I'm going on this cruise, I want to make sure we have somewhere to sit, you don't need to book a casita just for that. Get up to the pool deck before 10 a.m. You'll find seating somewhere. Reserve that seating, enjoy that time. And then when you're done, get up and go. Tracy wants to know, do any local currency in Cozumel? No, you don't need pesos. You can use U.S. dollars. Everybody in Cozumel takes U.S. dollars. So not a problem at all. Jason, my wife and I on our allure for Valentine's Day want to do special dining. What do you recommend for that? Well, I mean, I think a great restaurant for Valentine's Day would be, I think in general, a great restaurant is Zumi Hibachi. I'm not sure everyone thinks Hibachi is great for that. If you want like the most romantic place, it's probably Chops Grill, but I think, or 150 Central Park. I'd actually say 150 Central Park. I say this, 150 Central Park, if you want romantic, you want to look in each other's eyes, hold hands, say, I love you, insert pet name here. And she can say, I love you too. You want to do that, 150 Central Park. If you're looking for a great, time together, but, a little something different, I like Izumi Hibachi. So there you go. Terrence wants to know, is COVID testing random for guests while on board or only when someone has symptoms? The latter, only when someone has symptoms, Terrence. The exception being if you have unvaccinated children and your cruise is over 4 days, then they have to get a test at the end of the cruise. But no, they're not going to be on a 7-night cruise, Terrence. You as a vaccinated adult, they're not going to come to you and be like, Terrence, like the TSA, you drew the lucky number. Come get a test. They don't do it that way. It's only if you have COVID symptoms or you were potentially exposed as a close contact. Then in that case, I'll test you. Vanessa wants to know any insight when WoW bans will come back. I don't have any insight on that. I'm sorry. Let's see. Lots of questions today, guys. Trying to get to as many as I can. I'm really far behind in the chat. First of all, Anna again with a super chat. One more question. Thank you, Anna. I saw for Valentine's Day they have love at first bite at Chops at 150. Do you have a recommendation between the two? 150. Yeah, 150. I'm going to be honest with you, Anna. Can I be real with you for a second? I wouldn't go to either on Valentine's Day. Go to one or the other on another day. You're overpaying for Valentine's Day. I don't think it's worth it. I think instead you go to the main dining room for Valentine's Day or go to, a Zumi or something that does not have a surcharge for Valentine's Day and go back to 150 Central Park on another night. I just don't think it's worth it. The surcharge they do is because it's Valentine's Day. It's a holiday. They know a lot of people want to go. They do the same thing for Christmas and stuff like that. I frankly don't think it's worth the extra cost. I would save the money and go on another night. But if you're like, listen, Matt, this is Valentine's Day, we want to look in each other's eyes, say, I love you, then you do you, nothing like that. But in general, that'd be my recommendation. Vanessa wants to know. I know I want to take a cruise, but I understand now you have to take a COVID test at least 48 hours before boarding. 2 days, not 48 hours, but 2 days. Anyway, if it comes back negative, they will not let you board. You mean if it comes back positive, right? If you test positive for COVID, they're not going to let you board. Correct. If your test is negative, you're allowed to board, if that makes sense. Jeff and Heather says, if you get diagnosed with COVID on the ship, will they separate you from your spouse? Will they disembark you at the next port? Or will they quarantine you on the ship till the next cruise concludes? Jeff and Heather, check out our YouTube video that came out last Tuesday. So 6 days ago, I explain all this in the video. I can do a much better answer of me answering this for you here. I hope that makes sense. I'm not trying to disregard your question. I just want to give you a better answer and a shameless plug. Not going to lie. But the better answer and the shameless plug are the video we posted the other day. So check that out. Will have cruises summer season in Puerto Rico? I don't see why not. Whatever's on the schedule, you should assume is the case. So yeah. Wendy wants to know, do I think that boosters will be required for June symphony sailing? I don't know. I don't think anyone really knows. Like I said earlier, I would have thought that if they were going to require boosters, they would have done it earlier when Omicron was more rampant, but anything can happen, Wendy. I think we've learned at this point that protocols can change at any point. There are no sacred cows when it comes to what they may or may not do. Just got to keep on waiting for that. Steven wants to know any insight as to why Wonder is doing in Cyprus. Yeah, she's picking up crew members. That's where they go to pick up crew members. It's pretty commonplace for them to do that. Odyssey of the Seas did the exact same thing, Steven, when she launched last year. So, Kelly, I don't have any recommendations for where to rent a Jeep in Aruba. You don't have to type in capital letters. I still don't know the answer, so I'm sorry. I would just say I would either look at number one, like a major company, go to Budget or something and see what they got, or just Google and look for good reviews. Reputable reviews that have been from people who have used them recently might be another good idea as well. Susie Junko, hello, welcome. Spencer, what's going on? Thank you for joining us here. Will wants to know, I have a cruise for April. Do you think they might limit passengers 50% capacity or lower by then? It's impossible to know. It's a great question. We don't know what the capacity will be for any ship or sailing going forward. It could be any number. It's just, there's just no way to know. That's unfortunately the answer to give you. No one knows in advance. David Alvarado with another super chat. Are lockers readily available at Water Park at Perfect Day? Yes, they're right inside the entrance to Perfect Day Coco Key. When you walk in, the main entrance is on the right-hand side. They're free. You can use them. No problem at all. And we can store our phones on their valve. Yeah, no problem at all. Yep. Those slides are right by the Daredevil Tower. So it's really easy to go over there, drop them off, pick them back up again. No problem at all. There's also a little cubby, by the way. I wouldn't put your phone in there, by the way, David. But when you get to the slides themselves, there's a little cubby at the base of the stairs. You could if you have flip-flops or sunglasses, cheap sunglasses, you could put that in there as well. But stuff that you don't mind someone, accidentally takes. So, let's see here. Noah wants to know, do you need to show a negative test at every country at port? No. The cruise line has the results so they can show it to the country for you. You do not. In some countries, Noah, you're required to carry your vaccine card with you. The Bahamas is one of them. But no, they're not going to ask you every single port to show your negative test. So no problem at all. Slow Runner wants to know, is there a way to purchase additional Crown Anchor points to get to the next class? Nope. You got to go on a cruise. Deborah, how do you rent a cabana at Coco Key? Is there a way to do a pre-cruise? Yeah. Deborah, go to the Cruise Planner website. Go to Royal Caribbean's website, log into your account, and you'll be able to rent a cabana there. That's what you should do because they will sell out. So definitely do that in advance. Maddie wants to know, any news on Perfect Day at La Lepa in Vanuatu? I do not have any updates on there. Unfortunately, it's been all quiet on the Western Front. It doesn't help, Maddie, that Australia has been really out of the cruising business for a little while now because of the government down there, which stinks. But it is what it is. P&K, thank you for the super chat. Sailing Brilliance 2 weeks from today. That's awesome. You're going to be on right before me, I think. You're on 2 weeks from today is the 14th. No, you're going on right after me. I'm getting on the 10th. So I'll try to keep the ship in tip-top shape for you. Let's see. Shane, thank you for the super chat. Sailing with the Vax kids under 12, will we get a table in the Vax section of the main dining room, or do you need to request on board, online, check-in limitations? Oh, I got you. Your kids are vaccinated. Will you be able to, yes, you have to ask for it. When we that's actually what ended up happening. We did this exact scenario in December on Navigator. Our kids were vaccinated, and we're like one of the first sailings. And I was surprised. I looked at our table assignment, and we were on the vaccinated deck. So if when you get on board the ship, Shane, double check your dining room table assignment. Make sure it's on the right deck. If it's not, talk to the dining room staff. They can move you. No problem at all. Chris Dunn, thank you for the super chat. Mariner in 7 days. This is my daughter's first cruise. Can you speak a bit about Adventure Ocean? Love your channel. Thanks. Absolutely. So I don't know how old your daughter is, but Adventure Ocean is amazing. My kids love it. I love it as a parent. Basically, when you get on board the ship, day one on Mariner, go to Adventure Ocean when they open for open house, usually around 1 o'clock. Register your daughter. They can, not only are you registering her, you can also, she can meet the counselors, ask questions, and basically get set up for the rest of the week in terms of what to know about booking sessions or when to show up for your sessions. Adventure Ocean is open from on most days 9 to noon, 2 to 5, and then 7 to 10. And then anything beyond 10 o'clock costs money. They're open from 10 to, I think on Mariner, it's 10 to midnight. But it costs extra for those times, which, by the way, as a parent, worth every penny. But basically, while they're in Adventure Ocean, there's going to be different activities for them to do. There's going to be coloring. There's going to be Gaga Ball. I know, what is Gaga Ball? Google it. It's a fun game. It's really cool. My kids love it. They're going to have different competitions. There's different themes to the nights. So it's a really fun experience, and it's supervised, and it's fun. They're not fed, so make sure you feed them. They're not fed during Adventure Ocean, so make sure you feed them properly beforehand or after. Jonathan Harmon again with a super chat. Thank you, Jonathan. Don't apologize for another question. I misplaced my vaccine card. What can I get from my doctor's office that will make you real happy? You need to get another copy of the card. Not from your doctor is not going to help you on this one. There are ways to get a replacement CDC card, Jonathan. Check with your local authorities. I forget if it's the county or your town or the state, but there are ways to get replaced. You're not the first person to lose one, but you need the CDC card. So get the ball rolling on that one. Talk to whomever I'd start with your town or your county and work up from there. But there is ways to get more cards and get the information on them. But you need to have the card. MC says, are the ships only being filled to about half or 2/3 capacity due to COVID, or do you need to be vaccinated to board their ships? Correct. They're basically to ensure the reason why there's reduced capacity is to encourage, if you will, social distancing. And everybody above the age of 12 and above, must be fully vaccinated. Kids below 12 do not have to be fully vaccinated. There are additional protocols for those kids who are unvaccinated, but hopefully that makes sense. NYC Lover for life, going on Vision 77 days. Do you think there will be a potential of changing the ship or canceling the cruise since they use the Vision for quarantining 6 staff, which is smart, and I agree with that on the last part there. Anything's possible. NYC Lover for life. I got to believe, and I tell this for everybody who's got a cruise coming up, whether you're on Vision or not, that plan on going on the ship. You're going to be planning. I mean, 77 days is a while from now. We're already, I believe, I'm not a health expert. I believe Omicron is starting to peak, perhaps. So, there's definitely good reason to believe that they may not need as many ships or any ships, quite frankly, doing the, operating in that capacity going forward. But, basically, I can't tell you one way or another. I don't, as well enough, you've been here long enough that I don't have a magic 8 ball. I threw it away. But I don't have a crystal ball that tells me more than you guys know about this. If I were you, I would plan on going on the cruise because I would imagine it would be there. So remember, Royal Caribbean wants to get the ship back into operation with paying passengers. So Kevin wants to know, is it better to use a cell phone or a laptop for your at-home test? Cell phone. Yeah, I've done both, and the phone is way easier because it's much easier to change cameras and move it around. Definitely a phone is the way to go. Or a tablet, iPad, that's totally fine as well. Sandra is daughter and friend have shared room, but the friend isn't going now. Does my daughter need to let Royal Caribbean know before the cruise? No. If you're pretty, as you may or may not be aware, Sandra, if you try to remove the friend from the reservation, it can change the price. And usually by changing the price, it means it goes up, right? If that's the case, you can just no-show with the child. What that means is when you show up to the cruise and they say, oh, I see Sandra, you're here. I see your daughter's here. Where's Bob? And you're going to say, Bob ain't coming on the cruise anymore. Like, okay, no problem. No big deal. So. They won't get the money back for Bob, but you get the port fees and taxes back, but you won't get the cruise fare back, but there'll be no change to your cruise fare. So, but there's no penalty or anything for a no-show. Dennis wants to know, will Royal Caribbean start offering an alcoholic drink card similar to the coffee card? They have actually. We saw somebody posted about this on Explorer this season last week that there was one. Pre-pandemic, Dennis, they used to offer one periodically, but they would always offer it strategically. Not every cruise, usually halfway through the cruise in order to spur alcohol purchases, but you can't bet on it, Dennis. And quite frankly, I'd say there's a pretty low chance of it being for you. So, Cash Addict Mel, how does Roll Up work? Basically, you make a bid. It's like eBay, except it's a blind bid. So you say, if there was room is available, this category, I would bid X amount of dollars, right? It's based on double occupancy. They charge you that if they'll charge you if it's obviously accepted. If the bid is accepted, you get charged and they pick the room for you. You don't get to pick the room yourself, and then it's automatic. And if not, if there's no availability, and you're in the room you're in before. But just keep in mind that just because there's a roll up opportunity doesn't mean there's actually a room to upgrade to. So it's more of a tactical feature for Royal Caribbean, just in case they need to be able to use it. Will has a good question. Will cruises have more people on board during the summer? That is the plan. Yeah. So Royal Caribbean said last quarter, and by the way, they have an earnings call coming up on Friday, but they said last quarter that the plan was, and this was before Omicron, but anyway, last we heard, the plan was to get back to 100% capacity by summer. Now, when summer is, I don't know if that's July 4th, June, August, whatever. But that is the plan. Could those plans change? Absolutely. That is what they said before. Let's see. Jose says, I canceled the key from Anthem. My travel agent said that Royal Caribbean put it on onboard credit. If you use onboard credit to pay for it, Jose, then yes. But if you paid cash, like you put your credit card and it costs $200 and you put down $200, you're supposed to get that back as a refund to your credit card. If you use onboard credit, like if you had $100 onboard credit and you use that plus $100 cash, then you get $100 cash back and $100 onboard credit back. That's how it's supposed to work, if that makes sense. Luca says, we booked a cruise for 2019, but Dorian canceled that. Welcome to the club. I was in that club. We got a credit valid for 1 year. Then COVID happens. We couldn't use it for 2020 or 21. The credit's now expired. What can we do? Probably nothing. Your best bet, call Royal Caribbean, plead for on the mercy of the court. I mean, weirder things have happened, but I don't know. They may have extended your credit. I would at least call. You got nothing to lose, everything to gain by calling. Be polite. Be reasonable. And if the answer is you lost it, I am sorry. That does stink. And obviously there were a lot of extenuating circumstances here. Perhaps they extended it beyond that. I thought I recall. Well, maybe that was 21. I don't know. I'd call Royal Caribbean. You got nothing to lose. It's not a great answer, but that's what I would do if I were you. Mimi is selling on Oasis of the Seas in April. What's my opinion on the ship? Love it. It's a fantastic ship. You're going to love it as well. It's awesome. 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 Lots to do. Are you really from Greenland? You might be the first person ever that, at least that said hello. Maybe they watch. Maybe I got like 100 people watch from Greenland every day, but I don't know about it. Anyway, you might be the first person ever to say hello from Greenland. That's awesome. Royal Caribbean does visit Greenland once in a blue moon on some of their European cruises. So I'd love to be able to visit because I love cold weather. But yeah, that's pretty awesome. Where do you live in Greenland? Kathy says, I think this is going back to how do you get the replacement card? Health department. There you go. Paige wants to know what happens if it storms when you book an excursion. Do you need travel insurance to get refunded? No, that generally doesn't cover you, even travel insurance. If the weather is crappy and just, but the excursion is happening, sorry, Charlie, you just bad luck, but you still got to go. I mean, you don't have to go on the tour, but you ain't getting a refund for it. It is what it is. If there's something that prevents you from going on that tour, right? That's a different story. Like if the ship can't dock because of the weather and you book this tour on your own, most tour excursion providers will refund your money anyway. But if your ship pulls in and you open your balcony window curtains and you're like, oh gosh, this is awful weather. I'm not Tony Diaz. I don't deserve this. You see, that's not going to get you out of it. Sometimes Royal Caribbean does offer refunds even though they're not supposed to in that situation. people complain enough, but that's not the policy by any means. And I'm going to tri-state killer. This is an interesting topic. I'm not saying tri-state killer is wrong. I would just simply say this with this strategy, it's not a guarantee that it will work. It's possible. And I agree that there's a higher chance of rail up working in general if you're moving from an interior room to like a balcony, not a suite, but like, a balcony or even an ocean view room. But keep in mind, it may not work. So it's not a guarantee. It's not 100%. So basically, if you're going to book an interior room with this strategy in mind, be okay with staying in an interior room. Candace says, are there any Royal Caribbean cruise ships that have sports books in their casino? They don't have a sports book per se, but some casinos do offer sports betting. It depends on the sailing. I bet on a couple different NFL games, and I've lost a lot of money doing it. I think I've done it 3 times. Only one if I won once, I don't remember winning. I think I've only lost. You just ask the casino. Sometimes they've done it. It really depends on a variety of scenarios, but they have done it in the past. It's not an always available offer, Canon, if that makes sense. But they have taken bets on board. Grumpy and V with a super chat again. Thank you for your generosity. Appreciate it. Can we request a specific table in the main dining room, like one near a window by ourselves in a corner? Yes. What you can. Let me get you the email for that. This is an email you can send. Hold on. You gave me the super chat. I can at least look this up for you. Request email. It is RCL Dining at rccl.com. So RCL, Romeo Charlie Lima, Dining, Delta India November Gulf at rccl.com, Romeo Charlie Lima. You want to include your reservation numbers, your ship, and your sail date, and say, hey, we'd like to have a table for 2 by the window. That's number 1. Number 2, regardless of you sending that email, and I sent it about a month or 2 ahead of time. In addition to sending the email, when you get on board the ship, Grumpy and V, go down to the main dining room, check out where your SeaPass card will list on there your table number. So it will say, let's see here. It's my deck. Oh, there it is. It's really small. I don't know if you can read that. It's on the bottom. This one says deck 3, table 153. Go down there, double check the table assignment, make sure it's what you want. If not, then go speak to the head waiter and ask again. Between those 2 strategies, the email and talking to the head waiter, you'll probably get what you want. Can't promise it, but yeah. Let's see. Next question. Listen, we moved to Florida for many reasons. The weather was not one of them, actually. I prefer cold weather, but my wife, happy wife, happy life, Josh. John is thinking about doing a 8-night Mariner cruise to Bermuda in October. Have you ever visited Bermuda? I have. And if so, I'd love to hear your thoughts. It's a beautiful place. They have great beaches. Hamilton's a fabulous town to go hang out in. It's great. Hey, John Hoffman with the super chat. Thank you, John. Water or the pool salt or fresh? It depends. Some are both, one or the other. I mean, it's not consistent across the fleet. And are the showers soft or hard water? I have no idea. This is just something I don't know. Like, I don't know I know the difference, but I don't know the difference. Does anyone in the chat know? I'm sorry, John. Thank you for the super chat, though. Appreciate it. Grumpy Vino, thank you. My goodness. I mean, your generosity is not just today, so I appreciate you. Thank you. Dinser, do you recommend the Wow Band wristband? Well, I did, and I say did because they have not brought them back since COVID. So I wouldn't bet on it being available, but if they did bring it back, yeah, I like them. I thought it was well worth it. So, to each their own, certainly. Let's see. The Enu. Are you allowed to bring wine on the cruise? Capital letters. Yes, you are. Up to 2 bottles of wine per stateroom is allowed. Just bring it in your carry-on luggage. Ray, my wife is diabetic, can't drink alcohol. Can an exception be made in getting the ultimate drink package? Yeah, give them a call. They'll let your wife get the deluxe get the refreshment package instead. Yeah, just give them a call. Let them know about that. You have to call. You can't do it online. Tom, recommendations for sea days. Napping. I'm serious, dude. Naps are amazing. Trivia is a lot of fun. Do the progressive trivia. That's a lot. That's a trivia that builds on top of each other, and that can be fun. I love trivia. The casino's fun. Naps are great, and see the shows on board. Lots of good shows on there. Really, really good stuff. Keith Bruce, what types of rooms did you book for Wonder? I'm booked on 2 sailings. Well, actually 3, but I think you're asking about March. We have. I'm solo on the first sailing, so I just got a balcony room for myself. And then for the next sailing with my family, we're doing an aqua theater suite because happy wife, happy life. Tony Diaz, thank you for the super chat. Which insider MEI agent would you want with you if there was a zombie apocalypse? Who? Not Becky. I love Becky, but she would, the first opportunity she got, she'd kick me right in the kneecap so the zombies would get me instead of her. And she'd complain. And if we weren't being chased by zombies, she'd be asking, "Where's my drink? Where's my cabana?" That's not going to fly. I would probably say, Melissa is first of all, she's from Connecticut, so that's already like thumbs up right there. She likes beer, so we have something in common. That might be a good start. Dan Wanderman. Nice guy. He's vegan. He would just die immediately from starvation. That wouldn't work. Jennifer Keln. You know what? She's so resourceful. I might pick Jennifer because I can't tell you how many people love Jennifer as an agent. I feel like she's so resourceful. And in a zombie apocalypse, that's who you want. So we'll go with that. The email for dining request was rcldining@rccl.com. RCL, Romeo Charlie Lima, dining. So all one word, RCL dining@rccl.com. Wow, we've run out of time here. We're already at an hour. Thank you guys so much for all your support, all your generosity. There it is. There she is. Jennifer Kelln for MEI Travel. You're very welcome. Your reputation precedes you, ma'am. Anyway, on that note, now that Becky is typing her dissertation to me on why I'm wrong, I will say thank you to everybody for joining us here on YouTube. I want to say some thank yous here to our super chatters today. Tony Diaz, thank you. John Hoffman, thank you. Grumpy and V, thank you. John Harmon, thank you. Lost my spot there. Chris Dunn, thank you. Shane, thank you. PNK, thank you. David Alvarado, thank you very much. Anna Keen, thank you ×2. Brian J, thank you for your generosity. Jonathan Harmon, thank you again for the super chat. Tommy, thank you for the super chat. Jen, thank you for the super chat. Rosa, thank you for the super chat. Betty, thank you for the super chat. Kathy Crandell, thank you for the super chat. Grumpy and V, thank you again. Steve Rose, thank you. Taiwo Lee, thank you. David Alvarado, thank you again for the super chat. Javon, thank you for the super chat. The Teresa McShane, thank you for the super chat. Scotty 5000, thank you for the super chat. Vanessa Cooper, thank you for the super chat. I got so choked up, Josh, I couldn't even say your name. Josh Carruthers, thank you for the super chat. David Alvarado, thank you again for the super chat. Michael S., thank you for the super chat. And Brian Weber, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. And we got to say also, before we go, hello to my favorite triplet, Oasis in 27 days. I guess you're not joining your the other triplet on Brilliance in about next week, huh? I guess I'm gonna be all alone over there. So, all right, guys, have a great week, everybody. Stay safe out there. Do something fun. Check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. We'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Bye, everybody.